Okay, so I've made it to Ukraine and I'm here quarantining in our apartment on the 15th floor, overlooking lots of other apartment buildings, as can be expected. Um, so some people have wanted to know how the process went. Well, starting off in with buying the tickets, I guess I had no problem. I bought the tickets for a special flight directly from Ukraine Air using the app on my cell phone, the Ukraine Air app on my cell phone. They didn't ask for any additional documents or anything. It was just like buying a normal ticket. Although you have to buy them pretty quickly as soon as the flights are announced because they fill up fast, and the plane was 100% full. I think they were announced about a week ahead of time. Um, I flew on the 3rd, arrived in the morning on the 4th. Um, so when we got to the airport, I got to the airport about 6 hours early. The flight was at 1600, and I got there at about 10. Um, and people were already there in line. It was at a terminal at JFK that's only being used by WOW Airlines, the Polish national airline, and Ukraine Air. And there's not very many flights coming out of it. About 3 hours before the flight, they opened up all of the checkout counters, but they were staffed by JFK airport people, not Ukraine Air people. They had one representative there from Ukraine Air. Um, if you had a Ukrainian passport, no problem, get on the plane and go. If you didn't, we saw a couple people get turned away, and we saw a couple others get on the plane. So my situation is my spouse is Ukrainian, and if that's your situation, you need to have your original marriage certificate. If you were not married in Ukraine, you have to have a translation and an original translation um, together with the verification page with the stamps and the seals and everything into Ukrainian, although they'd probably accept Russian as well. But you want to, just to be safe, have the translation with you that's notarized, and it's got to be original. So yeah, marriage certificate. You want the original marriage certificate, original translation, and a high quality like color copy of your spouse's passport if your spouse isn't with you. My spouse was already in Ukraine, so like I was flying by myself. And you probably be a good idea to have your spouse available to call on like WhatsApp or whatever, just in case they want to call. Um, the representative of the airline was not real keen on authorizing people to fly, and so they brought in two guys from the consulate who were checking everybody's papers. And there were four guys there who have well, three guys that have Ukrainian spouses. I know that two of us got on the flight. I'm not sure what happened to the third one. I didn't see him after the airport, and the fourth guy had a fiance, but that wasn't enough, and they turned him away. And he was Canadian, like he had come down from Canada just to get on this flight and actually flown into JFK from Canada. And so, like, he was pretty distraught that he wasn't able to get on the flight, but they were just like, nope, sorry, not authorized. You're not a Ukrainian citizen, and your spouse is not Ukrainian. So you don't have a Ukrainian spouse, so you're not coming. Um, but yeah, I showed them all my papers. No problem. They let us into the airport. Word of warning: they don't feed you on the flight. They gave us two bottles of water and a packet of beef jerky and a little tiny can of Pringles. I was ready for this, and I brought other food with me, but just be prepared for that. I mean, you're getting on a 9 hour flight, and most of the restaurants, the only the only place in the airport that was open was like the newsstand where you can buy like a couple of snack foods and candy bars, and a Dunkin' Donuts, which doesn't offer a lot in the way of like decent food. Um, so yeah, then we flew. When we got on the plane, they took our temperatures. They took our temperatures about midway through the flight. They took our temperatures again right before we landed, and then they took our temperatures again after we landed. The flight suit or the flight attendants were all wearing bunny suits and like masks and goggles and stuff, And the only time they came by was once to give us our water and beef jerky and Pringles, and then once to collect trash. And that was right at the beginning of the flight. Other than that, nothing. And the plane was one of the older ones, so there's like no screens or anything, no outlets to plug into. So be prepared for that. And they let us off the plane in groups, and somebody from the I don't know what border security guard, I guess. He was wearing a bunny suit, but I saw like a military uniform underneath. They came in and checked our temperatures again, and then we got off, got on a bus. They took us over to the terminal, and we had to prove that we have that D-Doma app on our phones, and if and in order to get it, you have to have a Ukrainian phone number. So either come with a SIM card already installed, or they will give you a SIM card for free. Um, and it's probably a good idea for you guys out there, or for anybody out there with a Ukrainian spouse. Have your spouse meet you at the airport with any extra supporting documents. You can't. I mean, they didn't ask us for any more through passport control. They let me through pretty easily. They did check my marriage certificate, and but they let me through without any problems. And it's probably a good idea to have your spouse available though. And then yeah, once we were out of the airport, everything was hunky dory. We had 24 hours to get under quarantine, and I've got this D-Doma app now installed. That's so far it's asked me to take pictures of myself twice to prove that I'm here. I guess because my phone will geotag the pictures. Um, and that's it. Now I'm waiting. 13 days to go. Anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And stay safe, stay healthy, and be kind to each other.